Hey, Coach. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Um, First, just to recap very quickly, the Miami game, outstanding win. So proud of the guys. The players of the game were Michael Carter and Javonte Williams on offense, Jeremiah Gimmel on defense, and Trey Morrison in special teams. But most of the guys played really well. It was a game where you start going over the depth chart and who played well and who didn't, and most of the guys played really, really well. So very, very proud of them, and obviously much improved over our second half offensively against Notre Dame. So we've played number 2, we've played number 10, and now we get a chance to play number 5 in our last 4 ball games, and that's pretty special. I don't know if that's ever happened around here or not. And what a week it's been for Carolina football. A week to 10 days here. We beat a top 10 team in Miami. We signed a top 10 class in the country to add to the outstanding recruiting classes that we've had the last couple of years. We get an Orange Bowl berth and get to play against a great Texas A&M team who has all the right in the world to feel like that they should be in the top 4. That's why I think I'd like to see the playoff teams expanded to at least 6 and maybe 8. But every year there's that 5th team or the 6th team that we feel like should be in that didn't get a chance to be in, and Texas A&M earned that right. So we'll have a great opponent in the Orange Bowl. And then last night we had an outstanding senior banquet. A lot of people canceled theirs this year, and we said we're going to have it. So we've tried to be as normal in this abnormal fall as we possibly could. So it turned out really, really well, and a lot of good award winners. And the other thing that the kids were talking about last night is how much they've improved from 2 wins a couple of years ago to the Orange Bowl. And that's really special, and probably as much improvement as anybody in the country. And then we get back on Saturday and last Saturday and take all of our tests, and all of our tests were negative after the guys went home for a week. So things are really, really good right now. They're very positive. We just had a very upbeat practice. We'll treat this very much like an open date week, preparing to go to the bowl game. There will not be functions at the bowl game events like normal. So we will go down a couple of days probably before the game. It'll be more like an away game. And then you play. It's an 8:00 game at night, and then go home afterwards the next morning about 10:00, but stay there after the game. But the guys are very excited about being chosen to play in the Orange Bowl. First time we've had a major bowl around here for many, many years. So they've made some history for our school, and we're excited to be in, but we want to win against a great team. And to be a top 10 team, you got to beat top 10 teams. And we've lost to one and beaten one here in the last couple of weeks. So this will be another great challenge for us. Questions?
All right. Our first question for Coach will come from Kiera Luck.
Good morning, Coach. I just wanted to ask you, in 2 years, you've accomplished and exceeded so many great things. Is this the definition of Mack is back?
Kiera, thank you. What Sally and I came back for is to try to mentor young people and young coaches and try to help them have some of the experiences we've had. And that's what I really missed being in TV. And I was down some this spring, but there's no better time to try to be a strong leader and mentor young people at a time like this, because it's awful out there and continues to be awful. And Chancellor came out, Augustowitz came out to our practice today. Bubba Cunningham, athletics director, was out at our practice today. And I actually thank them in front of our team for allowing us to play, because we all thought this summer we might not play. And they made a hard decision at a time where we weren't sure We were even having to navigate some waters to make sure it was safe. So I'm really, really proud of the way our assistant coaches have handled all this stuff, the way the players have handled this. We've had 2 semesters of a 3.0 or above when they can't go to class. It's all been online. Our guys are acting right. They've stayed out of trouble. I'm really proud that as a team, they decided they wanted to play because we started August 6th. So it's been a long, hard year, and they could have been beaten down mentally, but they stepped up and they're really excited about playing. So this really reinforces Kira, the fact that I should have come back to coaching, and it's been fun.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, let's go over to JB Ricks.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking out the time. Always good to see you. I wanted to gear my question towards the announcement of the 3 players who opted out, Diami, Michael, and Chaz. Your immediate reaction, the guidance that you had to give them, and any disappointment. Was there any disappointment that you had to deal with from your team overall? You know, knowing that I know you guys want to go down to Miami and win this game and win it with a full arsenal. Is there any disappointment that you have to guide your guys through, you know, to make sure everybody's still on the same page to go and try to get this dub down in Miami?
Well, JB, the first thing is that our job is to tell the guys their options. So we've got Daryl Moody and a group of people that are talking to the NFL for like Diami and for Javante to see where we think they would be drafted. And then our job is to get that information to them and their families and let them make the decisions. We don't make decisions. And the same thing with the seniors. We talk to all the seniors. It's not my place to like it or not like it or be disappointed because everybody has options. You know, a coach can leave today if he decides to. Would I like it? Would I be disappointed? Probably some yes in both, but that's his option. And you get to do what you want to do. So we really appreciate what Chaz has done. He could have opted out the whole season. His brother decided to do that. He could have opted out after any game during the year, and he didn't. He played the whole season and fought his guts out for us for 2 years and did a great job. Michael Carter's been one of the best leaders and players I've ever been around. So Diami stepped up. He's one of the faster receivers in the country. He's made a huge difference in this offense. So you have to thank those guys and really appreciate what they've accomplished for us. And really and truly, this gives us a chance to look at guys for next year to see who's going to step up and take their place. And those are big holes to fill. But it is what it is. That's why I would like to see an expansion of the playoff system, because since we have the playoffs, there hasn't been as much emphasis put on bowl games. It's all about the playoff, and it's all about winning the national championship. And we're seeing a lot of guys opt out across the country throughout the year and for the bowl games. And I'd like to see it expanded to 6 or 8, so we would have more people, fans involved with what's happening in college football at the end instead of just 4. And then I think we'd see more players stay. But I think this is what's happening now, and I think it will only continue to grow with the numbers of people that opt out over the next couple of weeks and in the future.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, JB.
All right, our next question comes from Joe Mazer.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. You kind of touched on this before, but what does this major bowl opportunity say about the trajectory of the program? And are you a little surprised at how quickly you were able to get this turned around?
Joe, first, I'm really surprised at how quickly we've been able to get confidence and learn how to win games from where we were, not only when we got here, but 2 years or last year. And yes, this is a great step forward to us. Number one, it shows recruits and our fan base what we can potentially be. And number two, we're not there yet. We had a lot of hype in the off season, and we weren't ready to beat a couple of the teams that we needed to beat early in the year, and we've still got a ways to go. There'll be a lot of people that don't think that we can compete with A&M or should be in this game because we haven't been here before. So I do think that we've made tremendous progress in a very short period of time. We'll be a better team this spring than we are right now because of the recruits that we're bringing in, and then we'll have some more join us in June. But I do think that we're way ahead of schedule of where I thought we would be after only 2 years. It's funny, Joe, a lot of my TV buddies and some of my friends in coaching had texted and said, "You're doing better this time than you did last time in your second year." I said, "Yeah, smart, Alex. That's what those guys are."
And do you anticipate anybody else opting out, or do you think this is the haul right now?
Joe, we talk to every young person, and we ask them, are you going to play or are you not going to play? And please tell us before we get started, because we'd like to be able to at least practice the guys that are going to play in the game. So the answer is I have absolutely no clue, but I would hope that and think that anyone who has decided not to play in the bowl game has already decided, because we had a great practice today with everybody other than those three.
Okay, let's move over to Greg Barnes. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Mac. Joe kind of took my question there, but to build on it a little bit, the immediate goal clearly is to win the Orange Bowl. But as you said, it's been a heck of a week for Carolina football with their signing class, with the win over Notre Dame, getting to the Orange Bowl. What is the next step for this program moving forward?
Greg, the next step is to win the bowl game and not be happy to be there. I think that's something we have to be careful of, because we haven't been to this place in 70 years with a major bowl. So let's don't pat ourselves on the back, and we're playing a great team, not a good team. The last time we played number 2, we didn't respond well offensively in the second half. So this is another great opportunity for us to show the progress that we're making. And then what you do, Greg, is our goal is to win the Coastal, to win the conference championship, and to be in the playoff, and therefore win the national championship. And that's not going to change. That's who we are now. We have some goals about we want to win all the in-state games, and then obviously you want to win all the games. And like I said, I had a friend once that said after the Virginia game, that was a bad loss. We'll never have another loss that's not a bad loss. I do understand that because expectations are skying now, but that's a good thing. And you want your fans involved, and you want your fans angry when you lose any game, because their pride is hurt, and they've identified with the winning part of your program, and I'm used to that. So that's a good thing, and helps you guys. You get more people stirred up when we win and when we lose, so you get more subscribers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, let's go over to Luke Buxton.
Hey, Coach. I just want to, I'm curious about your take on this kind of monopoly in college football that's formed with the college football playoff, how 6-7 teams are kind of in the hunt every year. What do you think is the root of kind of the happening of seeing those top teams every year, and how can we maybe break through and get some guys like UNC and Cincinnati and kind of et cetera to
Well, Luke, first, it's recruiting. The teams that continue to have the top 5 recruiting classes in the country are the ones that keep playing. And that's something that makes it difficult for everybody right now to catch up, because there'll be a tremendous amount of publicity for us in the next 10 days before the second, when we play in the Orange Bowl. That's an advantage over those that aren't playing in a major bowl, and we'll get more publicity than them. Well, it's magnified with the playoff. The playoff is just going to be out there every minute of every day, throwing those 4 logos at recruits and at kids. And I have felt like since I started TV that our system is not set up where a group of 5 team can get in the playoff, because of the number of games scheduled, the number of Power 5 games scheduled. Their conference schedule doesn't give them the opportunity to pass the eye test. So if it's unfair for Cincinnati or South Florida or Coastal Carolina because they're not going to be able to get in because of the system, then let's be fair to them and change the system. And I really think the group of 5 should have their own national championship and they should have their own playoff. And I think it'd be great. You see right now, Louisiana Lafayette playing, or Louisiana playing Coastal, and you start looking at Marshall playing Liberty, and you start looking at the teams in the group of 5 that have been so good this year. Cincinnati would have a chance to win the national championship, and now they get pitted with a Georgia in a New Year's Six Bowl. So I think that would help us if we extend the playoffs, because usually there's 6, 7, or 8. So extend the playoff to Power 5. I would put the champions of the 5 different conferences in, and then I'd have a couple of at-large to make sure that we get the best teams in. And then I would actually have a group of 5 national championship. And some would say, well, that's not fair. Well, if that's not the case, then take the highest rated group of 5 team and extend the playoff and put the highest rated one in. But either you need a path for the group of 5 to get in, or you need to let the group of 5 have their own championship. Because right now we're not being fair to them. And I understand the committee completely. I would be voting the same way because of the schedule, because Cincinnati's schedule was 77th. But I do think it's a shame A&M didn't get in. Now, should they have gotten in over Notre Dame? Who knows? I mean, that's what the committee chooses that. But if we'd had a 16 playoff, A&M would have been in. And then we start looking at having the best chance to really monitor the best teams in the country and who should be the national champ.
Thanks, Mack.
Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me. Let's go over to CL Brown.
All right, Coach. Given the announcement of the guys who are opting out today, it could have taken kind of the wind out of a lot of teams, but I didn't get that sense from our interviews we just had with Sam and Taman and Jeremiah. So I was wondering, from your perspective, what does that tell you about this team? That, you know, a lot of the guys are actually saying they were excited about the opportunities other guys are going to have stepping into those roles. What does that say to you about this team to not have this announcement be something that just kind of overshadows the joy of everything going on with the program right now?
Yeah, see, I think they're excited for those 3 guys, that they've played so well and they've done so much for us, and they wish them well in the NFL. But then you go back to work. It's your team, and your team's playing a great game, and it gives other guys opportunities to step up. Those are big holes to fill. So who are going to fill those holes? But now we know Diami's not coming back next year, much less the Orange Bowl. So I've been really, really proud of the guys. I made the announcement in the team meeting to the guys that these 3 were leaving. We wanted them to release it on their own because it's a personal decision, not a team decision. And we felt like it would be good for them to do it this morning while we were practicing. But this bunch will move on. If I wasn't going to the Orange Bowl, this team would be fine and do a great job there. So when somebody steps back and steps out, somebody's got to fill their place. And that's no different than any of our lives or any of our businesses. And I think that's the business approach that this team's taking.
And looking at the big picture, I've had some readers email me about who had a direct connection to the 1950 Cotton Bowl team and things like that. Like, do you feel like the kids understand kind of the historical, like 50 years from now, people will be talking about, you know, Carolina making the Orange Bowl in the 2020 season?
CL, probably not. We would have to ask them, but I wasn't born when we went to our last major bowl, and they know I'm really old. So when I told them that, they said, "Oh my gosh, that's been a long time." So they would reflect back more on that than that, because I was born in 51. But I do know that they are really excited. And I told them, get you a big ring that is so big when you walk in the room that everybody says, "What is that?" Oh, it's no big deal. This is our Orange Bowl ring. But I also told them that ring looks a lot better if you win. So that's the point. But I do think they walk by Charlie Justice statue every day. They obviously know he went to the Sugar Bowl and was the runner-up to the Heisman, and this puts a smile on my face because Charlie was a friend of mine when I was here before, and when Jason Stanisak broke his all-time rushing or yardage record, I had a picture with that I have in my office today with Woody Durham and Jason Stanisak and Charlie Justice. And that's it reminds me it's something I should show the players in the morning before practice.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, CL.
All right, let's go over to Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach, as much as you'd like to have those three going down to Miami, how exciting is it for you to be able to have a chance to see some other guys step up and get really meaningful reps against a big-time team, and how that can help them going into next year?
Andrew, it's really exciting. I'll miss those three, and I'm sure those three will miss not being at the game. But again, they made family and lifetime decisions for them, and that's fair because we all have that right to do that. And as I said, our coaches have been offered jobs. Right now they've all decided to stay, but one of them could do the same thing. So I think the fun thing for us now is we get kind of a look at next year's team. We've got very few seniors that will be playing, and this gives us a chance to try some guys out here in the next 10 days, and tells us a little bit more about what we will be looking at going into spring practice. So it is an exciting time for us, and it's no different than having injuries. When somebody's out and they're not going to play in the game, it is next man up, and that's what you've got to do. And it sounds a little harsh, but it's facts, and that's what these kids know, and that's what they've been taught. And when we talked to them about the three guys not playing, that was one of the things we said. These are huge holes to fill, and somebody in this room's been preparing to fill them, and now you've got your opportunity to step up. So we'll see what you can do.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, Coach, I've been told that's our allotted time for the day, so we appreciate your time, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.